I meant to do this a lot. The Pippa story is oriented around the shooting of a Walmart. Oh, fucking... She's never gonna live that joke down. All right. God damn. What a way to begin this video, right? Okay, so I've been meaning to do this for a little bit. I'm not laughing at this video. I'm laughing at the previous video I just did a reaction to. But so we're gonna be reacting to inspiring philosophy for the first time on this channel, just because I don't really know how he feels about reaction content. Yeah. So the title of this video is "I Need Your Help. This is Getting Dangerous." He has already accomplished what he needed to do. But this is probably going to become a recurring problem, and we're going to see why. Let me make sure this is all the way up.
Recently, you all know I had to update the online community that Muslims are threatening and doxing me and my family because I don't say Islam is peaceful.
So there you go, chat. That's IP's number. So IP, this is nothing, IP, by the way. Your front door is next.
So, by the way, again, I'm of the opinion that doxing should be a federal felony. Right? I'm of the opinion it should be a felony to dox someone. It's like, oh yeah, the religion of peace. How do you know that we're peaceful? Oh yeah, we're gonna put someone who's had multiple violent threats against their life. We're gonna put their number out there. And then we're going to threaten to put their address out there. Why? Oh, because we're peaceful people, right? You shouldn't have fucked with us. And if you didn't fuck with us, you would have had your peace, right? It's like, it doesn't sound very peaceful at all. This sounds like fucking, like a gangland bullshit.
But we're taking it slow because we're going to go the distance. And this is going to affect you, IP, in more than one way.
Denaturalize whoever this is and deport them out of the country. That's my opinion, right? If this is not a citizen of the United States by rights, right? So we're not talking about the oh yeah, just legislated from the bench bullshit that happened recently about like, oh yeah, the magic soil makes you American, right? No, if this person does not have a actual legitimate citizenship through naturalization, or if this or like through birthright, then fuck it, denaturalize him, or I mean, if he has it through naturalization too. Denaturalize him, deport him, and then ban him from ever coming back into the United States. Right? That is what we should be doing to people like this, to be perfectly honest. Religions of pieces. Yeah, this fucking Hubal worshiper, right? It's like, oh my god. This guy wants to pretend to be a monotheist, and like, oh yeah, he believes in a religion of a corporealist, where you have to fully submit to a human being, who is, by the way, not God, in order to serve God, right? Because it turns out Allah only exists to fulfill all of Muhammad's desires, right? What are we doing here? A felony, dox, and swat anyone? Yeah, I would agree. Those should be absolutely felonies. Religion of peace, prone for their members to explode with anger at the slightest inconvenience. Yeah. Yeah. I am of the opinion that, like, if someone attacks you for criticizing Islam, you should ramp up your criticism of Islam tenfold if you can do so. Have you seen the YouTube video about how the Crusades were based? I didn't need a video about that. I actually already knew about the history of the Crusades. I think you're talking about like the PAX Tube video, but yes, he didn't actually say anything in there that I didn't know. And funny enough, there were multiple things he left out of the video for time constraints, because there's only so much you can do in a video of that size without bogging it down, to be perfectly honest, right? So yes, I have seen it, but I already knew most of this stuff before I actually watched that video.
IP's.
If you're interested, though, I would suggest watching PAX Tube's video on how the Crusades were based. It is actually pretty good.
Gonna have to move house next.
We're so peaceful, we're gonna evict you from your place of residence through violence, coercion, through threats of and intimidation of attack. Muslims stay in the cities for the most part. Except for the Muslim cowboy. He lives in the country, obviously. Not a big fan of him. Especially in the commie states. Oh, yeah. It's the Red-Green Alliance, right? Let's see. Stop being so based. I'm actually fairly cringe, to be perfectly honest. It's only when you get me talking on specific subjects that I turn out to be based.
You're gonna have to move house next, IP. Because you keep saying Islam is so unpeaceful. No.
Yeah, thank you for proving him right by demonstration. This is the thing. It's like these idiots don't. So it's a combination of evil. Like this person is just unapologetically evil. Second of all, he is actually low IQ. Like this man is so dumb. He can't understand that literally, again, doxing someone, which the only reason you dox a person is to put them in danger of physical harm, by the way. So implicitly threatening physical violence against someone. It's like, in order to get them to shut up. Oh yeah, it's like we're peaceful. No, you're not. No, you're not. If anything, you should be deported, right? That's my official position. You should absolutely be deported. Beards are bad and evil. I got some bad news for you, buddy. Hello, Boo Huckley. Biased and cringe are the two sides. Oh, based and cringe are the two sides of the same coin. True. True and real.
You're the one who provokes. Nobody's stupid, IP. Michael Jones.
So, by criticizing Islam, he provoked you into doxing him so that in hopes that someone will cause harm to him down the line. Nah. Again, if this guy does not have like a hereditary attachment to the United States, if he's a citizen by magic soil, or if he's here on a work visa or something like that, boot his ass out, permanently ban him. That's my opinion. I was called a grifter in the most roundabout way today on X. Oh my god.
Your literal sister works at a school that has Muslims in it.
Oh, God willing, not for long. Hopefully, they will be cured of that affectation and turn into anything else that's superior to Islam, whether it be atheism or fucking Christianity, or, you know, the funniest one would be if they become Jews, to be perfectly honest, because we all know what Muslims think of Jews. God willing, they will become Jews for the time being, just to piss everyone off. They're so peaceful, they evicted the Spanish citizens from the Moroccan city they invaded. Yep. Yeah, and then the Muslims have the fucking audacity to complain about getting evicted from the Iberian Peninsula. No, I'm not hearing any of it. Any man who says Al-Andalus outside of like talking about Islamic history should be immediately shunned, in my opinion.
You're a little Islamophobe, bro.
There's no such thing as Islamophobia. He actually understands Islam. He knows that you should not be treated, you know, as if you were not a danger. In fact, you are proving him right that you are, in fact, a danger. Beards are flavor savers. That's why you can choose who. Fucking hell, mate. Islam is a parasitic infection. I would agree.
We need to call the school. Oh, we're gonna do it. Trust me.
The irony is not lost on anyone who has more than 2 brain cells. You're proving my point that Islam is a violent religion that must be opposed at all costs.
Yeah, it's called the proof by demonstration. And again, if you've never seen Inspiring Philosophy, him and Apostate Prophet and I don't know, has Counterintelligent actually done any videos on that? Hold on. I'm going to check right after this. But they all do videos on Islam because it turns out Islam is kind of a growing problem in the West. Not because people are converting to Islam. Actually, more people are leaving Islam than converting to it. But very specifically because so many of them are just invading Western countries to subvert the West through womb jihad because they can't actually win a fight through, you know, traditional means. Let me check. There we go. Okay, hold on. Does he actually do talks, or does he primarily do? Okay, it's music videos. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. But I've had conversations with Counterintelligent on this particular subject too. He's very knowledgeable on the subject matter. But yeah. I don't respect the Muslim religion, to be perfectly honest, right? For the same reason I don't respect, for example, Scientology as a religion. Why the fuck would I, right? It's an obviously false religion. It's easily defeated. And in the case of Islam, right, at least, it's an active political danger. Why the fuck would I respect it?
Now, since I made that video...
Like, if there's a person who's like, allegedly a Muslim, right? So we're using a very broad word here, right? We're going with like self-identified definition, and like they want to talk and like have a peaceful conversation. Yeah, sure, why the fuck not, right? Like I'd have a conversation with Avicenna if I would have the opportunity, right? I'd talk to Averroes if I had the opportunity. We probably wouldn't talk to Al-Ghazali, but you know that I kind of blame Al-Ghazali for ruining much of the Arab world, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, as far as the religion itself goes, no, I do not respect it.
The Muslims have continued to come after me by putting up what they think is my home address, as well as threatening physical violence and also to grape my wife.
IP.
Oh yeah, this happens all the time too, right? It's like, oh yeah, Islam is a religion of peace, and if you don't believe it, I'm gonna rape your wife. It's like these people are actually again, they know that. Okay, so some of these people may not understand how that looks from the outside, and if that's the case, they are too dumb to be allowed to vote. If they have any kind of citizenship, make sure that they cannot vote, right? Universal suffrage was a mistake for this exact reason. On the other hand, if they were naturalized as a citizen, or they are just here illegally or here on some kind of temporary permission, and they pull stuff like, again, just get them the fuck out of here, right? Expedite them back to whatever backwater fucking country they came from, right? They want to live under Sharia law, they can go live under Sharia law. To the Saudis you go, right? The Hashemites will welcome you, right? Morocco will see you back. But again, the most of the European countries, the American countries, like both North and South, absolutely should not be putting up with any of this. Muslims exploding within 50-mile radius because of that statement, right?
I'll rock you, IP. On Paru, I'll rock you. One hit and you're out. I said I'll make you my concubine. And I still stand on it. I will make you my concubine.
Nobody wants
Easy.
her. Nobody wants her. Well,
and hold on. I'll make IP's girl my concubine. I'll make David's girl my concubine. The house.
So yeah, that remember the thing we were talking about a while ago when we were talking about in a previous video how in Islam the marriage of a conquered people, the marriage of men and women in a conquered region are automatically null and void because to allow Muslim soldiers to take the defeated enemy's women as concubines, and it won't be adultery, right? Because the marriage has already been annulled by Allah to fulfill their carnal desires. Islam presents itself as a religion of discipline when it is actually a ideology of carnal excess, right? That's all it is. Oftentimes, a lot of the virtues that Muslims pretend like they have are actually just vices covered in an appearance of virtue, like Ramadan, for example, right? Why are there so many health conditions that spike up in Ramadan that are correlated to overeating? Well, it turns out, yeah, you don't eat during the day, but you binge eat during the night, right? Interesting. That's why we have so many of these health problems appear on the holy month of fasting. It's kind of strange that people are getting things like diabetes, from what looks like, again, from overconsumption on Ramadan. How could this be? I thought it was the month of fasting. No, it is the month of gluttony with an appearance of fasting. That's all it is. Let's see. Religion is just another set of politics which can and will contradict your own politics. It depends. Let's see. I see how the Marxians and Muslims can work together. Oh, yeah. Okay, so there is a principle in Islam called Dihyah and Kitman. So Dihyah is the principle and rule that you can actually tell a full-out deception in order to advance the cause of Islam. Well, Kitman is the doctrine that you can actually use a half-truth, that you can in one breath lie about one thing and tell the truth about something else in order to deceive the enemy, right? So it turns out just includes lying about what you believe, right? When you're in a position of disadvantage. So it does make a lot of sense why the communists and the Marxists would get along, and at least until they get power and then they kill each other, right? Joke incoming, you're a YouTuber, Muslim child marriage should have won you over, right? Oh my god. Whatever Islam and Marxism have in most common must not be pretty. It's not. It really is not. But, yeah, there's a number of Muslim apologists who defend child marriage because they kind of have to, right? They kind of have to. Their perfect pattern of conduct, you know, Muhammad, you know, did marry and a 6-year-old girl and only waited to consummate the marriage with her when she was 9 because she got deathly ill and everyone thought she was going to die. So, and it's not like we don't have hadith in, you know, granted it is daif, but it's not like we don't have hadith about, daif hadith about Muhammad being really, really fucking weird and creepy about a Fatim, which is a suckling child, and it's not like we don't have Sahih hadith, by the way. Sahih meaning authoritative, so daif is weak and Sahih is authoritative, and these are terms with respect to Islamic historical, criterias. It's not like we don't have plenty of hadith of Muhammad talking about his own sexual depravity, to be perfectly honest, including his, admonishment of his friends for preferring women that were voluptuous and curvy, right? Because it turns out his friends actually were like, why would you want to marry this little girl? Do you not want a woman with curves? Would you not like, someone soft and supple, right? Someone with, would you not like some milk with your cake, right? And the answer to the question was, I can't even repeat it actually on Twitch or YouTube live stream. I already got fucking hit by pointing out Muslim pedophilia in one video. I'm not getting hit again, right? I have not yet passed the 90 days. But the fact I cannot repeat it should tell you how the level of depravity that I'm talking about here, right? So,
who's next, right? This is the house that IP's funneling his fraud out of. Bathroom, kitchen. This is it right here. This is where this little blaspheming animal be coming from.
I don't know who this is, but I have such a strong impulse. I don't know who this is, but like to use AI to generate, because even the AI thing, it's like your religion is of such non-importance to me, I won't even waste my time to actually draw it. I'll fucking get a machine to prompt it, right? But maybe I should prompt some images of Muhammad being an absolute fucking creep, and put that on Twitter. I don't know, right? Let's see. Waiting with bated breath for the 90 days to end. Oh my god, yes. There is a video on Inspiring Philosophy's channel I really want to react to, but I can't really react to it because of that 90 days.
On top of all this, when I was in LA, the ringleader of this Muslim circus decided to stalk me and God Logic to the church that we were scheduled to speak at, and he claimed to have a weapon on him.
Hey, Henny, pee in the back or back pocket or no?
Nah, hell no. Not at a church.
No, not church. I'm talking about the pier.
Oh, yeah, I would. Because they called security right now. Watch, I just seen it. This is why, Issa, I have that 6th sense. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
I have the 6th sense. Look, they're right there.
The main reason this is pretty terrifying is that other
Because it's a history of Muslims killing people who criticize their religion. Anyone fucking remember Charlie Hebdo? Just pointing that out there, right?
content creators have been going through similar issues and even being targeted by terrorist organizations.
I was threatened by a terrorist organization.
Think about it this way. Their God is so petty, their God is so small, that these people are an active threat to their God. What kind of God do they worship? Right? Think about it. Like, does this really seem like does this really seem like the creator of the universe, the ground of all being, the one from which creation itself emanates, right? I don't really know. It seems more like Hubal, Like Hubal, he got his fifis hurt, and he's like, yes, that one right there, take him out, right? And it's like, why take him out? Oh, because it turns out he's a threat to to my power and my authority. Well, maybe your power and authority is ill-gotten if that's the case, right? I am Charlie. Yeah, I remember that, right? Yeah, no, it's like if anyone attacks you for this kind of stuff, honestly, the thing you should do, I know it's gonna be really pressing to do it, but if anyone were to attack you for something like this, the appropriate response is to double, triple, and quadruple down. It should be the only way to make these people stop is if it becomes so much worse when they attack someone, then that's the only way that it's actually going to stop, right? Demiurge. Well, I mean, let's just say I don't think Allah, if there is such a spiritual reality behind all this stuff, I don't really think that they're worshiping a demiurge. I think that they're worshiping what would probably be a demon. If Mecca and the Kaaba were to be gone, they would have nothing to stand on. The wave of apostasy would be mind-screwing. I mean, it would.
One day, while I was at work, I got a text from a family member of mine telling me that I needed to come home immediately because the FBI was at my house. So I got in the car, got on the phone with this family member, and drove home. When I arrived home, there was a man waiting outside. He showed me his badge, informed me that he was with the FBI, and then told me that we needed to talk. He told me that there was a terrorist group based in the Middle East and that they were targeting me, calling me a kafir because I was a threat to the Prophet Muhammad's dignity.
Again, it's like, so this is a threat to the dignity of the Prophet, right? Huh. It would be a shame if everyone doubled and tripled down on this, right?
This terrorist group had pictures of me, private information, and were actively looking for my address with plans to unalive me and those around me.
Muslims are threatening rape, violence, they're stalking us, and they're actively looking for my real home address.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they got the wrong address, but it's still probably a wise move for him to, move. That way, isn't it said they worship Baal unknowingly? That is one theory. It's not proven, but there is a very good case to be made that Allah is basically just a syncretism of Baal and with some traits of Yahweh thrown in there. Let's see. From what I understand, the demiurge would be on par with the demon. It depends on the meaning of the word. The word demiurge wildly differs in meaning depending on the context, because Christians, Gnostics, and Neoplatonists all use the word to refer to very different things. Greek Christianity just calls God demiurgos, right? Because demiurgos just means hand worker or one who crafted the world with his hands, right? So it depends on the context. The invisible hand spanks their gods. Oh, it really did, right? Objectively speaking, the invisible hand absolutely bitch slapped and then spanked Allah. Let's be absolutely honest about this.
On top of all this madness, my wife and I are expecting our second child to be born soon. So to keep my family safe while I keep spreading the gospel online, I have no choice but to move to a new home. We found a reasonably priced home far from here in a gated community for added protection.
That's good. Gated community. It's depending on how severe the gating is too, right? In a case like this, you want a gated community where they can actually physically remove someone for being in the community when they're not supposed to be, right? So all I'm saying is hopefully it's in a place that has really good stand your ground laws.
But I can't afford it on the salary I'm making, especially with another kid coming soon. So that's why I'm asking you for help. I created a GoFundMe, which is linked below, which you can give to and help us move to a new home. Please help me keep my family safe, and I'll keep fighting. I'll keep spreading the gospel and standing against the threat of Islam. But I need your help. Please support me in this endeavor.
So yeah, again, this is one of the reasons why I don't exactly... Hold on, let me disable the thing for a moment, just to make sure I don't accidentally...
Recently, you all know I had...
That's not the button I pressed. What the fuck? Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, there's no location data. So, yeah, it looks like they definitely passed their goal, and it seems like this happened fairly quickly. So the internet definitely came together to support Michael Jones and his family. Assad Saman, fucking recent donation. Fair enough. Again, not all Arabs are Muslim. There's actually a lot of Christian Arabs, right? So, yeah. Where is it? Here we go. Cyberpunk Dingo had something to say about all this. So let's hear what we got to say. Let's hear what he has to say.
Dingo. And today I've got a bit of an unfortunate video to talk about, and that is, if you guys didn't know, Inspiring Philosophy on Michael Jones. He's in the Christian apologetic
Oh, come on.
scene on YouTube. They do really good work with debating Muslims, debunking Islam. It's ironic because
I mean, if you go prepared, you can absolutely spank most of these people in a conversation. And actually, fun fact, Cyberpunk Dingo actually is an ex-Muslim who came from a Muslim country, specifically the Maldives.
must feel like guys like this, they are continuing the work that the new atheist movement, funny enough, they used to do back in the early 2000s and early 2010s before it imploded. Absolutely fearless, open.
Let's be fair, the new atheist movement imploded because they absolutely gave in to Marxist presuppositions, right? The new atheist movement needed a unifying idea to actually get everyone together, to unify everyone. And instead of going with something like actually based, like objectivism, which would be the most reasonable atheistic worldview, they instead went with a more mystical, pseudo-rationalistic worldview of Marxism, specifically crypto-Marxism. You know, that's what woke is. Woke is American Maoism, right? And Maoism is just Chinese Marxism. So that's all fucking wokeism is, right? So they went with these mystical ideas, which are things like Marxism, feminism, fucking queer theory, and all this bullshit, right? With the trans ideology. And they went full mystic, and it completely destroyed their movement. So, again, this pull to mystical thinking is just a thing that happens to a lot of people. And it did destroy the new atheist movement. But, yeah, they were the ones who definitely jumped on attacking Islam specifically. But, yeah. I don't know I don't know I would agree with the idea that, like, oh, yeah, they're picking up with the new atheists left off. The Christians were criticizing Islam. It just wasn't as like widely heard at the time. But I remember back in that day with when the new atheism was like big, there were Christian apologists arguing against Islam pretty openly. They just weren't getting a lot of attention.
Critique of Islam, and you know what, a lot of ridicule towards Islam as well, which I love doing as well. Literally in like my 18th or 19th video, I actually put up a cartoon of Muhammad flying on a donkey, you know, that really weird miracle they always talk about in Islam. I feel like ridicule, satire,
Okay. Maybe I could get the AI to gen me Muhammad flying on a donkey, flying to the men of al-Zuṭṭ. I might have to check that out.
That's probably one of the better ways to criticize Islam, because it is a religion that is built on ensuring that nobody could ever criticize it, especially not joke about it. And how do they...
Hold on, random thought. In Islam, isn't a child the last time they see something other than just a female's eyes? What? Okay, you're gonna have to clarify what you're asking. So if you mean like covering up women, yes, women get covered up, especially in more conservative Islamic regions. By conservative, I mean conservative Muslim, right? Yes, children get covered up very early on because, again, it's like perfect pattern of conduct. You know, molested a 9-year-old girl and called it holy. Just saying. So there has been a bit of an issue. Fun fact, any place that Christianity has taken over for the most part, like from the pagans, they tended to actually stop child sexual abuse, because in much of the pagan world, child sexual abuse was not necessarily promoted. Sometimes it was ritually promoted, like for example during the horse sacrifice rituals of the Indo-Europeans, which by the way started in the Caucasus of Russia. Sometimes it was ritualized like that, but in general it was more along the lines of like children, like slaves, were property, so you could do whatever the fuck you wanted with your property as long as you didn't like actively kill them. And we have plenty of documentation from the ancients talking about exactly this practice. And it was the Christians and the Jews stamped it out, like in Israel, for example. But like in Christianity, where as it became a global religion, they're the ones who really stamped out on it. The main competing religion, funny enough, in the early days of Christianity was Manichaeism. And Manichaeism was a religion that exploded across the world way faster than people really understand, right? It came centuries after Christianity. And whereas Christianity, like, for example, spread as far west as the fucking British Isles and Spain, and as far east as, like, China, Manichaeism in a shorter time went way further, right? It actually did go as far west as Spain, yeah. But it also went as far east as Japan. Now, a lot of people kind of like nah, they didn't. They got to China. One of the Manichaean manuscripts that's actually fairly well preserved was not found in China. It was found in Japan. So if we're talking about like a global competitor to Christianity, Manichaeism was the big threat, right? And yeah, no, we know exactly how the Manichaeans dealt with the issue of pederasty, and they just permitted it, because the thing in Manichaeism is, oh yeah, the material is actually evil and the spiritual is intrinsically good, so whatever the flesh compels you to do, that's not really what you did. You didn't do that. It's the sparks of your light, the sparks of the divine are trapped in your body, and they don't have full control over your body. So when your body does something, that doesn't necessarily mean you did it yourself, right? Yeah, and so they were willing to just they were willing to look the other way on certain things. Let's see. Can't see the Christians as a problem. It basically brought modernity everywhere. If there was one criticism you could give to Christianity, is it basically destroyed itself, right? It destroyed itself through its own innovations, which eventually led to modernity, which led to post-modernity. But, you know, it's not like there weren't several places where, you know, just a return to basic reason couldn't have stopped a lot of these, you know, issues.
Enforce this? Well, if you are within the Islamic community, obviously they have your blasphemy laws, and of course there's the threat of the death penalty if you are an apostate.
Yep.
But what about if you are a non-Muslim, a Christian in this case, like Michael? Well,
oh, I this might be a bit of a cyberpunk dingo video, because I have another video queued up about that exact topic too.
The best way, and even in America it seems, the best way for them is to threaten them with real violence.
Yep.
He has now put up a video asking people to assist in moving homes because Muslims are so pressed, they are so childish, they cannot take any criticism whatsoever about the religion, even if it is in good faith, these debates. And I've seen a lot of Michael's debates. He does it really well. He sticks to the facts. And even that, like, even a professional debate is not enough. That's too much for them. Because, you know what? As I say, the internet is the worst thing that's happened to Islam. And
oh yeah, it is. If you want to know why the great apostasy is really a thing, it's because of the internet. The internet is absolutely accelerating people in Islam leaving the false religion, you know, the obviously false religion of Islam, right? So, yeah, no, there's a reason why mosque attendance, even in fucking Iran, sharply dropped. And a lot of it is the internet.
for someone like Michael to go out there and critique Islam in the way he does is one of the worst things that could happen to the religion. That is why these cowards are now going after not just him, but his family. And that is why he is...
And yeah, he's right. They are cowards, right? Because here's the thing. The God of Islam is not really a God. The God of Islam is a weak, impotent thing. That's why he requires violence in this way to secure his authority, right? Because he is, in fact, a nothing. He is, in fact, let's see, the internet is for porn. God damn it. Like, Buckley says, people who cannot take criticism are always evil for some reason. Yeah, because they don't believe in dialogue. And here's the thing. Islam's ethical foundation is not founded in reason, it's founded in force, right? It is ultimately an anti-human ethical system, because here's the thing. The foundational aspect of human beings is our reason. Do you need force? Yes, you need force for when reason does not suffice. But if your go-to is force, then you don't really believe in reason, right? And that just reduces man to an animal. Because what is man? Man is a rational animal. He is not a sensible animal. To reject your reason, like I pointed out with that one woman who was talking to that black ICE agent, right? And this is like, don't think, feel. It's like she's asking him to betray his species. To, instead of being a rational animal, reducing himself to being a sensible animal, right? Yeah, no, it is. There is a anti-human ethic deep in the core of both Marxism, feminism, and fucking Islam. Let's see. A lot of gods are depicted as weak and jealous and petty, not physically weak. Yeah.
Having to move house. Let's have a look at what he had to say about this, because this is just absolutely insane.
And say Islam is peaceful.
So there you go, chat. That's IP's number. So IP, this is nothing, IP, by the way. Your front.
I want to pause this because I forgot to bring this up earlier. But look down at the video and you'll see that it's 17,000 that there are. Oh wait, yeah. So Michael Jones got a lot of support on this, right? Because even when Cyberpunk Dingo was looking at this, 17,000 people saw Michael Jones make his video and was like, hold on, this is beyond the pale. 17,000 people actually got to watch this and hit like on the video, presumably because they agreed that this is beyond the pale. So they are actually hurting their own case. And there is an old adage in strategy: never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. See whether Marxians and Muslims can work together? They're anti-human? Yes, they absolutely are.
Door is next. But we're taking it slow because we're going to go the distance, and this is going to affect you, IP, in more than one way. IP is going to have to move house next. You're going to have to move house next, IP, because you keep saying Islam is so unpeaceful. No, you're the one who provokes. Nobody's stupid, IP.
Notice again how Christians, Buddhists, and Hindus don't really act this way. Kind of interesting. Like, can you find some people who allege to be Christian, Buddhist, and Hindu who do this kind of stuff? You'd be hard-pressed to, but you could probably find someone who did it. But per capita, and we all know that per capita there's no comparison, right? It's almost as if it's very specifically a religious thing, not a issue of, again, instigation.
Michael Jones, your literal sister works at a school that has Muslims in it.
Inshallah, all of those Muslims shall become Christian, right? Let's see. I've always thought that if gods were perfect, wouldn't such human emotions be not something they feel? Okay, so in classical theology, like scholastic theology, God actually does not experience passions, right? In his timeless state. But because God becomes man, right? Because the divine nature takes root in a human body, the human body is subject to the same human passions that the rest of us have. So God in his divine nature, so you're talking like the Holy Spirit and the Father, do not actually experience the passions. They exist in one timeless, immutable moment. Whereas the second person of the Trinity, the God the Son, in his nature as God, does not experience any, passions either. It's only through his human nature that he experiences passions. But because God himself, right, the second person of the Trinity, is the animating principle of, Jesus the man, i.e., his very soul, his human soul is, the animating principle of his body, is God himself. You can still say that God, as Jesus Christ, felt anger, fear, sadness, frustration, and all that stuff, right? Through his human nature. But you couldn't say the same thing of the Father or the Holy Spirit. That's if you assume Trinitarian logic. Let's see. Okay, hold on. What is this? Every other religion existing peacefully. I mean, there have been religious conflicts between like Zoroastrians and Christians, between Christians and Christians, between Tengrists and Christians, between Tengrists and Zoroastrians, between Tengrists and Buddhists, between Buddhists and Muslims, right? But if you actually look again at a per capita thing and you see, all right, which one actually gets in the most conflicts and how much death and destruction do those conflicts make? There's really nothing that comes to compare to either Islam or Marxism as like religions. Like, these are wildly disproportionate when it comes to violent impulses than anything else that the human race has actually generated. Let's see. Every other religion, Muslims took that personally, right? Thank you from a Buddhist, but I think for us, it's because we actually make promise during the joining of Buddhism. I mean, yeah, it also depends on how much you take your religion seriously, right? Obviously, you're going to find Buddhists who don't take their religion seriously, and then you're going to find Buddhists who do take their religion seriously. Same thing is like, you're going to find people who take their Christian religion seriously. You're going to find people who don't take their Christian religion seriously, right? And you're going to find people who take Islam seriously, and then other people who don't take Islam seriously. But the problem is like, if you take Buddhism seriously, you're going to be fairly avoidant of unnecessary conflict, right? If you're going to be a Christian and you take your Christianity seriously, you might jump headfirst into conflict, but the reason you're doing that is for the betterment of another person, right? You're doing that out of an act of love, not of an act of self-aggrandizement, for the betterment of another soul. If you're taking Islam seriously, though, well, you got to look at the doctrine of abrogation. The doctrine of abrogation says that whatever Allah has previously decreed gives way to whatever Allah later decrees, so he can just make shit up on the fly. So that requires you to know what order the chapters of the Quran were written in, because it's not written in chronological order. And oh, would you look at that? All the peaceful verses come in the beginning when Muhammad has no power. And when he gets power, all of the violent and warlike verses appear. Interesting how that happens, right? So if you ever wonder why we've still had an issue, we've always had an issue with Islamic terrorism, and got to point out again, the only reason we have a navy in the United States is because of Muslims wouldn't stop touching our fucking boats for no reason. It's because if a Muslim takes their religion seriously, they're going to support the terrorist. It actually turns out that from a Sunni perspective, basically Salafiyah is correct, and from the Shia perspective, 12verists are basically correct, and those are not the ones you want to be correct for a peaceful society. Not all religions are created the same. They are very different. Even when they engage in conflict, they are very, very different from each other. Let's see. Pretty sure that's why Mel Gibson titled the movie Passion of the Christ. Yes. The joke flew over your head. Oh, it really did. Hold on. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, that did fly over my head, unironically. I was raised Baptist, but I was never baptized. Yeah, that's one problem I have with Baptists. Is it's very clear in the Christian tradition, pedobaptism, or the baptism of infants, is basically a traditional requirement, right? Yeah, sure, the Bible never directly says it, but all historical documentation seems to indicate that the earliest Christians, the ones that would have actually had contact with people who actually literally talked to Christ, or literally were the apostles of the apostles, all practiced infant baptism. They literally, all you have to do to show this is point to one apostolic church that did not actually practice infant baptism. The Eastern Orthodox do it. The Catholics do it. The Oriental Orthodox baptize their infants. Fucking Nestorians. Nestorians. The people who believe that, again, Christ is not one person, but two persons. Like a really ancient, original error in the church. Baptize their infants. Literally no one outside of Gnostic religions, and even many of the Gnostics baptized, even some of the Gnostics baptized infants. So it's like, there's not really a good historical argument that the early church, the early Christians, didn't baptize their infants. So it's like, that's one of my issues I have with Baptist theology, is like the believer's baptism. It's like, no, you're supposed. Baptism is literally the thing that replaces circumcision. When do you circumcise an infant in Judaism? Oh, 8 days after birth, right? When do many Christian traditions baptize their infants? Oh, 8 days after they're born. Let's see. Body is weird about being in water. Well, you don't need to be fully immersed in to be baptized in the Christian tradition. You can actually have water just poured over your head 3 times in the Trinitarian, prayer said over you. Let's see. Baptists are the most lenient version of Christians. It depends on where you're at, right? I mean, it depends on where you're at. Like, I don't imagine we could, for example, say that, like, what the fuck are they called? The one that gets in trouble all the time. Fuck, I can't remember the name. I'll remember it later at a most inconvenient time. Or so I heard. Hey, again, it kind of depends. The Baptist church I went to, there wasn't water baptisms for children, but there were baptisms dedicated for newborns. See, that doesn't make any sense. that doesn't make any sense to me, but I will continue with the video. That's the one I was thinking of. Thank you, Westboro Baptist Church. Right? Not exactly lenient, right?
You're a little Islamophobe, bro. We need to call the school. Oh, we're going to do it.
It seems that, like, again, by the way this guy is behaving, he has a very good reason to be an Islamophobe, right? I mean, if this is how Muslims react to minor criticism, then yeah, sure, why shouldn't you be an Islamophobe? These people can't fucking regulate themselves, right? Like, I've literally worked with I can't really say that because then I'd get in trouble. But, like, I've literally met people who had, like, severe mental problems who could regulate themselves more effectively than this person. What the fuck are we doing here?
Trust me.
The irony is not lost on anyone who has more than 2 brain cells. You're proving my point that Islam is a violent religion that must be opposed at all costs. Now,
They're a little insane, more militant. Yeah, I would also say that they're, like, objectively wrong, right? But that's a conversation for another time. The Baptist church I went to, like, to dunk you. Yeah, a lot of Baptist churches do full immersion. Sorry, it's like, I understand. Like, again, I started later than I had intended to because, again, I lost track of time.
since I made that video, the Muslims have continued to come after me by putting up what they think is my home address, as well as threatening physical violence and also to grape my wife.
Sprinkle baptisms is what I'm referring to. Yeah, those are valid, right? You don't have to do a, like, immersion baptism. Even when you have access to a river, you don't. It's not necessary, right? For the kids, yeah. Bath is greater than circumcision. No wonder Christianity won the Desert's Belief Bowl. Well, the Manichaeans almost won that one, actually, right?
IP, I'll rock you, IP. On Paru, I'll rock you. 1 hit and you're out. I said I'll make you my concubine. And I still stand on it. I will make you my concubine.
Nobody wants
Easy.
her. Nobody wants her. Well,
This is why I really hope IP fucking lives in Texas, right? Or at least someplace where they have both, like, conceal and open carry and fucking, like, very strong stand your ground laws, right? This man needs to be able to defend himself, right? If someone is stupid and gets uppity, and then he has to fucking take someone out because they go to his house and try to attack his family, I'm gonna be like, what did we didn't really lose anything here, right? We didn't exactly lose anything here, right? Stupid games, stupid prizes kind of stuff.
And hold on. I'll make IP's girl my concubine. I'll make David's girl my concubine.
All these people can think of is violence and rape. It should tell you a lot about these people. Right? It's one of those things where it's like the behavior of a person tells you a lot more than what they're actually saying could possibly tell you.
The house was next, right? This is the house that IP's funneling his fraud out of. Bathroom, kitchen. This is it right here.
See a Muslim running at you yelling, Allahu Akbar, time for the boomstick. I mean, you're not wrong. Beeritarian, I'm not allowed to call them what they are here. Yeah, that's a fair point. Again, it goes back to the thing I was saying the other day, right? It's like it's the thing that I've said the other day, right? I've heard so many people say, it's like, yes, the Jews control the world, right? Well, I've criticized the Jews before, right? And I've never gotten in trouble for it. I criticize Islam, and it's the only fucking video I've had that got nuked out of YouTube, right? So, again, who actually controls me, right? Oh, my God.
This is where this little blaspheming animal be coming from.
Again, when people act this way, you should in my opinion, you should probably double and triple down.
On top of all this, when I was in LA, the ringleader of this Muslim circus decided to stalk me and God Logic to the church that we were scheduled to speak at, and he claimed to have a weapon on him.
This sort of thing makes you want to ban Islam, but that isn't legal. So, funny enough, the main spearhead for religious liberty in the United States was actually the Quakers. Because the Quakers did recognize the problem with the United States in its original founding, which was that each of the colonies had a different religion. Some of them were Presbyterian, some of them were Catholics, some of them were, Lutheran. Not exactly a bunch of people who actually agreed with each other, right? So the separation of church and state was to protect not just the church from the state, but also to protect the states, plural, from any individual church co-opting them. Because why do you think Maryland is called Maryland? It's the land of Mary. It was originally a Catholic colony, right? Yeah, and the Quakers said that they wanted to have a society where Christians, Jews, and Muslims could worship, as they saw fit by their own conscience. It's a nice sentiment in general, right? But the thing is Christians and Jews are not like Muslims. Islam is not the same religion as Christianity or Judaism, and they behave very differently, right? We could even test this in real time, right? Lebanon was literally created as an experiment in society to see whether or not Christianity and Islam could actually exist side by side. Fun fact, Lebanon, the modern state, was actually designed to be a Christian homeland in the same way that Israel was designed to be a Jewish homeland. And in the Constitution of Lebanon, the president of Lebanon is required to be a Maronite Catholic. Now, Maronite is just a particular rite, a liturgical rite. So it's instead of the mass being said in Greek, as in the Byzantine rite, or in Latin, in the Latin rite, or in English, as in the Anglican use, which is basically just the Anglican use of the Latin rite. They would say they would have mass in Syriac, but that's neither here nor there. The prime minister of Lebanon is legally required to be a practicing Sunni Muslim. So you had literally legal equality between Christianity and Islam, and even the two heads of state, one Christian, one Muslim. And you can look at Lebanon right now, and you got to ask yourself, all right, which one really fucked this entire situation up? And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not the Catholics who did it. It's not the Catholics who fucked that situation up. Same thing with Israel and Palestine. Has Israel been perfect? No, Israel has made a lot of really dumb mistakes. That being said, Israel has many times offered peace deals with Palestine, sometimes even offering to give up land to satisfy Palestinian demands. And Palestine has consistently said, from the river to the sea, i.e., all of it, Palestine shall be free, i.e., we will march the Israelis into the sea as the Ottoman Empire did to the Armenians, right? Yeah, no, I wonder which religion is actually fucking up all these, attempts at coexistence. It couldn't possibly be the one that literally teaches, religious supremacy, or the one that teaches, for example, that at the end of time, when the Mahdi returns, that, the Jews will hide behind stones and trees, and the stones and trees will cry out, "Oh, servant of Allah, Musi, you Muslim, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him." And only the Garkad tree will not, because the Garkad is the tree of the Jews, right? Multiply tested in the Hadith, by the way. Yeah, it's not like that's the religion that could possibly be the problem, right? Nah, it's very clearly those contemptible Christians, those dastardly Jews, right? There's a certain point at which we are being completely unserious by just not fucking acknowledging that these are very different religions, and they should not be treated as if they are the same thing. It seems like in my rant I might have I may have missed a couple of comments. The sort of thing, okay. It's the land of suck. Let's see, Maryland, that is. Well, it's pretty bad now, right? My YouTube is lagging, trying to catch up on the hour between us. Oof. Sorry about that. The Muslims messing up your connection currently, right? Oh man, it's that magic donkey that gave Muhammad his magic ride, right? It's flying overhead. It's interrupted with my signal.
Hey, Henny, pee in the back or back pocket or no?
Nah, hell no. Not at a church.
No, not church. I'm talking about the pier.
Oh, yeah, I would. Because they called security right now. Watch. I mean,
why wouldn't they call security? You're acting like that's an unreasonable thing to do for them to call security when they've been physically threatened. No, you're a fucking retard, right? That's all it is. You're a fucking retard. Like, what, have you been? Like, I don't understand why you think that. I don't understand why you have a difficult time with this. Are you inbred? Right? I know that's a bit of an issue with, again, a religion that promotes cousin marriages for generation after generation. But, like, has your IQ tanked because, again, there's been so much incest in your family? What the fuck is wrong with you? No, you're not this retarded. You are actually just an evil human being, right?
seen it. This is why, Issa, I have that 6th sense. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
I have the 6th sense. Look, they're right there.
The main reason this is pretty terrifying is that other content creators have been going through similar issues and even being targeted by terrorist organizations.
I was threatened by a terrorist organization. One day, while I was at work, I got a text from a family member of mine telling me that I needed to come home immediately because the FBI was at my house. So I got in the car, got on the phone with this family member, and drove home. When I arrived home, there was a man waiting outside. He showed me his badge, informed me that he was with the FBI, and then told me that we needed to talk. He told me that there was a terrorist group based in the Middle East, and that they were targeting me, calling me a kafir, because I was a threat to the Prophet Muhammad's dignity. This terrorist group had pictures of me, private information, and were actively looking for my address with plans to unalive me and those around me.
Muslims are threatening rape, violence, they're stalking us, and they're actively looking for my real home address. On top of all this madness, my wife and I are expecting our 2nd child to be born soon. So to keep my family safe while I keep spreading the gospel online, I have no choice but to move to a new home. We found a reasonably priced home far from here in a gated community for added protection. But I can't afford it on the salary I'm making, especially with another kid coming soon. So that's why I'm asking you for help. I created a GoFundMe, which is linked below, which you can give to and help us move to a new home. Please help me keep my family safe, and I'll keep fighting. I'll keep spreading the gospel and standing against the threat of Islam. But I need you.
Now, here's the thing, guys. Even if you're not a Christian, whatever you are, Christian, Jew, atheist, agnostic, Hindu, Buddhist, at some point in your life, I always say, whatever religion you are, if you live in the West today, you are going to face the challenge that is Islam. Even if you bury...
Oh, that's out of pocket, just someone. No woman knows you better than your cousin. Fucking hell, mate. That is just wildly out of pocket. Holy shit. Time zones suck. All they do.
Go ahead in the sand. Islam will come and grab your head and pull it out of the sand, and you have to face it head on. It's just inevitable. That's just the way life is today. Very few people are able to confront it like Michael Jones here.
It's kind of funny that the left has talked about the paradox of tolerance and how you can't really tolerate intolerance, right? It's like, now do that to Islam. Now do that to Islam, right? Now, or are you just gonna wait until like what happened in Iran with the revolution in Iran, where it's like the leftists and the fucking Muslim extremists worked together to overthrow the Shah, and then the Muslim extremists, as soon as they got power, decided, hey, we're gonna kill all the leftists. I mean, it's not gonna be any skin off my back. It's not like I'm a leftist. It's not like I'm a Muslim, right? So it's like I no matter who wins that particular fight, I don't really care, right? Right? It does not bother me one way or another, right? I just want both of them to lose, to be perfectly honest.
For those of you who are new followers of mine, I never used to run this channel with myself on it. I did a faceless channel and I did video essays maybe once a week. And I was getting a lot of views, and I had a Discord channel, which you can find in the description, by the way. And guess what?
Blame Jimmy Carter.
IS members invaded that channel and were threatening the members and myself. And that channel wasn't very big. It had like 30 or 40 people in it because I was still very new to the scene. And yeah, they were sending out death threats. I was getting death threats in my DMs. There were posts on Reddit, yes, Reddit, where they were talking about dragging me out of my house and killing me. That is the sort of threats they were already making.
I mean, yeah, they can make those threats, but that's why it's like you try, if you can, live in a state where they have excellent stand your ground laws, right? You know, someone comes to your house in Texas and tries to break down your door, and you can just delete them from the census, right? Just delete them from the census. It's like, well, no skin off anyone's back, to be perfectly honest. Like, the world has lost nothing of value, right? In fact, the world might be slightly better off now that someone who tried to break into your house is out of the census, right? It really is that simple. Just allow people to use lethal force to defend their family. It is that fucking simple.
And if I recall, at the time, I had like 30 episodes up on the channel. 30. That's really not very many considering how many videos go up on YouTube. And yet, they were that pressed. They didn't even know who I was. I was a faceless channel, and yet they were so desperate to find out who I was and get rid of me. Of course, as you guys all know, I doubled down. You cannot back away. And I started putting myself out there because I felt like it was important to drive home the message that here I am, an ex-Muslim, and for most of my life, all these people...
We need to treat them with an aggressive form of the old laws. If they come here and kill one of us for their silly fake profit, we need to eliminate a village, make it clear to the world you're not allowed to kill Americans, much like Rome would have. That's not entirely necessary. All you need to actually do is you need to crack down on this shit. Like, you don't actually have to eliminate a village. One thing that you could do is like, okay, let's identify everyone who actually knew that this was going on, right? Let's identify everyone who actually knew that this was going on and then didn't say anything about it. If this is actually the case, that's the case, what we can do is we could, if we have a death penalty, then we could enact the death penalty on the people who are involved in that particular situation, right? It's like an accomplice to murder, because it's like, yes, you knew that this was happening, going to happen, and you didn't fucking do it, which happens more often than people think, right? It's that whole thing with like in Citizen Vigilante, everyone kind of freaked out, but it's like, objectively speaking, it's like he didn't punish anyone in that scene that wasn't actually guilty. Like, when they were confronted, they all literally doubled down and said, yeah, it happened and it was actually good, right? They were all advocating for it. They all were going to cover for the rapist, right? So it's like, what the fuck are we doing? They are all guilty. They all knew about it. They were all covering for it. It's like, if you're going to, for example, use deportation as a crime, then yeah, just deport that entire family in that case, right? Or they can all go together, right? Or if you're gonna arrest them, considering again, it's like, yeah, sure, not everyone may have done the rape in that scene, obviously, but it's like, yeah, you have a special like punishment for the rapist, but also arrest everyone there who knew about it and supported it, right? Like, the thing is, like, it's about holding people who are actually responsible accountable, and in a lot of these cases, it's actually more people are accountable for, are actually responsible than people want to admit, because it's like, nah, again, it's all you have to do is read the Rape Gang Inquiry Report, which I did on fucking stream, right? It was 13 hours, but I did read it on stream. And like there were two different cases where it's like, yeah, someone was arrested for rape, and then the sister really just starts screaming Allahu Akbar. It's like, that one right there, arrest her too, right? This one almost certainly knew about this going on. Arrest her and fucking send her to prison, and as soon as she's out, fucking deport her too, right? It is literally just about holding the people who are actually responsible, and that's it. That's all it fucking requires. Let's see. I need to head to bed. A cosmic night. Good night, kid. I'll get some sleep.
Made me rather powerless. I was born in an Islamic country. I could not speak out at all under the threat of the death penalty or life imprisonment.
I will say though, to your point, Buritarian, if we do find out that, like, for example, one of our girls was trafficked to one of these Muslim countries, which apparently was actually identified in the Rape Gang Inquiry Report as something that happened more often than people would like to think, I am totally okay with creating specialized extraction units to go in and get those girls back. And if someone is stupid enough to stand in the way, yeah, I mean, I don't really, we're taking our people back from bondage, and if you're stupid enough to stand in the way, you can get deleted from the census for all I care, right? Stupid games, stupid prices, and all that, right?
There was a feeling of no hope for a very long time. Most of my childhood, my early teens, all of that, which is why I felt like it is so important to be able to speak out, put myself out here, and show people, hey, not only is it possible to leave Islam, but it is possible to criticize Islam rather openly from within, from someone who was born into the community. Talk about what God...
That's why these people are so devastating to Islam as a case, right? That's why they hate that's why they hate apostate prophet as well, right? Because apostate prophet was himself former Muslim, and he was very well read in all in like Sunni literature. So he's very familiar with the Sunni religion, and so it makes him a devastating critic of Islam.
Goes on within the community, what their actual feelings are, not the whitewashed bullshit that we see from governments in the UK, in Australia, and other parts of the West. None of that. The real Islam. I can present it to a wider audience, and it is never easy. I have to wear this mask because they believe my blood is halal. This is what happens when you criticize the religion of peace, by the way. This is how peaceful they are. They cannot engage on an even playing field. Their first reaction is to resort to violence and to silence their critics and their opponents. That is literally the first thing they think, and I feel like this sort of low impulse control might be because of generations and generations of inbreeding. That's my first theory, to be completely honest with you guys. But it is how Islam has operated since inception. When Muhammad first died, what happened? All these conquered peoples, they all started leaving the religion, so much so that Muhammad's successors had to go out and kill all of them, which is called the Ridda Wars, or the Apostate Wars. And I feel like that continues even today, and they extend it to people like Michael Jones, or even God Logic, or the Apostate Prophet, or Dave Wood, or anybody else who dares to criticize Islam. But that is exactly why I feel like it is so important to continue doing so. Ridicule Islam, criticize it. Talk about al-Zuṭṭ. Talk about how Muhammad required gallons and gallons of semen in his rear end to gain his magic superpowers. Talk about his marriage.
Yeah, again, that's the reason I brought up al-Zuṭṭ earlier. It's right. That one's a very humiliating story for them because it's attested in their own Sahih literature or authentic literature, right? So there's a lot of things there's a reason why many imams actually don't want their flock to actually read the hadith, because there's a lot of embarrassing, discrediting material in Islam's own reports of Muhammad's life. Right? I'm just saying. Apparently, Muhammad had to get down and had to do some homosexuality, right, in order to accomplish his divine mission, right? His divine mission of getting some tail from Dihyah al-Kalbi, which is his male friend that he said was actually Gabriel when his wives caught him with a naked Dihyah al-Kalbi. And apparently it made it hard for Muhammad to visit his gay lover when it turns out that the dogs kept barking every time he tried to come over, right? It turns out Muhammad took it up. Muhammad got a little bit of the receiving end of the homosexual relationship from al-Zuṭṭ by many men, by the way, right? The whole idea is like, yes, he shall get his magic strength from allowing himself to be the bottom. When al-Zuṭṭ to supply him with with their manliness, right? Well, remember that the hadith also says that he had the sexual strength of 30 men. So I wonder how much trauma from that he was fucking working off, to have the sexual strength of 30 men. Apparently his 11 wives weren't enough. He had to get some tail on the side with an actual dude, right? What the fuck are we doing here? I do think we should probably. I do think if we're gonna like actually piss, if you want to really piss people off, just like harping on that would probably be a really good way to do so. Because there are so many ways you could meme this.
To Aisha. Talk about how he got onto a magic donkey and rode into the warp. Talk about that.
And rode into the warp. Okay, Warhammer reference, right? Made right. But yeah, the Aisha thing. Yeah, again, 50-year-old man, has sex with a 9-year-old girl. Evil shit, to be perfectly honest.
Talk about it as much as you can with your friends, your family, and push back against this. Because it's like a Spartacus moment. If everybody is Spartacus, then nobody is Spartacus. There is nothing they can do about a growing number of people who dare to criticize Islam, who dare to push back against what Islam is doing to their communities, to their countries, to their cities.
Islam has no place in the West, to be perfectly honest. Islam is a civilizational enemy to the West. Islam, historically and religiously, does not view the West as a, brother to live side by side with. No, it sees the West as the Dar al-Harb, or the House of War, right? That which is to be waged war against. To be driven into submission to Islam. So, yeah.
Cannot get rid of everybody. This is how Islam gets defeated. This is how Islam can also collapse from within.
This is also why they go after these people this way. Because, again, this religion, their god is a weak and impotent god. Their god is a false god who deserves to be ridiculed and humiliated. And to be perfectly honest, that's exactly what the counter-Dawagandists are doing, right? They're like, yes, I'm going to show you why Islam is false. All they have to do is point to the Muslims' own sources to show that Islam is actually just obviously a fake, false religion. And that's why they have to threaten them with violence, because it is actually that fucking easy. The religion of conquest is looking at Europe like a starving hyena looks at steak. Yeah, it is a religion of conquest, but it's also a religion that was promised it would expand across all the world without decline and would conquer the world. And it just consistently loses fight among fight among fight among fight among fight with the West. It cannot expand into Western territories. And so the way that they're trying to do it now is through demographic replacement, right? And it's not going to work because within 3 generations, most of these grandchildren of Muslims actually end up leaving Islam. We actually have pretty good data on this. Islam is incredibly unstable in the West. Because, again, the peaceable Muslims, quote unquote, who take their religion seriously, all it really takes is for the wrong one to open a book and then actually be like, oh, this is what Islam actually teaches, right? So I got to go do this thing and get my 72 virgins and then go out and drive a fucking bus or a car or like a truck through a crowd of people, right? By the way, when I was in the army, I actually was I predicted the fucking truck attacks were going to start happening. I didn't know where they were going to happen, but months before the fucking Paris truck attack happened, I was able to predict that there would be truck attacks just because I actually had the common sense to think of, if I was an evil person and I wanted to cause the most amount of damage and I have no resources, because I didn't really have any resources when I was in the army, I was like, how would I do it? Oh, I could literally just drive into a crowd of people. There's probably going to be a truck driver who's going to do that exact thing. And I don't remember how many months it was after that, but within the fucking year, exactly that fucking happened. And it's the same thing with predicting knife attacks are going to happen. It's obviously, it's not that hard. You can't carry a gun. What do you think's going to happen, right? If you actually get guns off the street, did you get the knives off the street, right? None of this is all that hard to understand. But yeah, that's why they're looking at it like a steak, because it's they have been unable to actually perform conquest against any of the fucking communist countries for the most part. They've been unable to do it against any of the fucking what would you call it? They haven't been able to do it against the Hindu country. They haven't been able to do it against any of the historically Christian countries. The only country they can't even do it against the Jewish country, right? Literally one tiny little sliver of land. You know, the homeland of the Jews, and the one that, like, again, their religion declares they will exterminate, and they can't even do that, right? So it's like, in the only countries they've actually been able to conquer have been mostly ones which have also been historically Muslim, right? Think about fucking Iran. So yeah, it has been it's not just been a century of humiliation for China, it's also been a century of humiliation for Islam. And again, that century of humiliation for the communists and for the Muslims is one of the reasons why they work together.
Because not only does it protect non-Muslims, it also protects people who are questioning within the Islamic communities, potential ex-Muslims. Because if it becomes no longer dangerous to criticize and ridicule Islam, all these people would find it significantly easier to leave the religion as well.
Yep.
And it will implode. I can assure you of that. And, you know, the good thing is, ironically enough, I believe this has led Michael's GoFundMe to be extremely successful, and I believe he is now going to be able to afford to move his family to safety. That is fantastic news. I know Michael has commented and watched a few of my videos before, so if you are watching it now,
I
Michael,
actually didn't know about that.
I'll leave your GoFundMe's link in my description as well. Check it out, guys, if you can do so. But I will end this video by saying we will never, ever back down, because this is about saving Western civilization. Now, if you enjoyed that video, guys, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment your thoughts in the comment section below.
See, yeah, I don't have to deal with this because I'm too small to be noticed yet, right? But I've already talked to family, and my strategy is if I actually get in trouble for something like this, my solution to the problem is double the fuck down, right? It was like, it's just double the fuck down. And I would suggest everyone have that strategy. If everyone doubles the fuck down when they pull stuff like this, they're going to have to stop. Because if violence just makes their case even worse, and they actually get more pushback because of it, they're going to have to stop. That's the only way to make them stop. The only thing that they understand is obstinance and force. So anyway, let's see. Military-wise, most Muslim countries are focused on relations and loyalty and don't care about ability. Yeah, that is true. Well, okay, so the century of humiliation for Islam actually begins with the Ottoman Empire's collapse, because the Ottoman Empire was functionally a caliphate, right? And the caliphate is not just a political entity, it also is an entity of religious importance, right? The destruction of the caliphate has left a wound in the Muslim community, and that is not healed. That has been very long-standing, and it will never heal because I don't think anyone's ever getting a caliphate again, to be perfectly honest, right? I think that that era is over, and I do think we will, within the next 100 years, see the very slow, gradual collapse of religiosity among Muslims around the world, because the internet is just going to become more accessible, and it's just going to be objectively impossible to hold on to Islam in any meaningful way due to the advent of the internet. It's just not going to fucking happen. And I am all for it. I want Islam to go the way of the Manichaean, to be perfectly honest. Anything else replacing Islam would be fucking better, right? If Iran returned to being Zoroastrian, that would still be better than what it has right now, to be perfectly honest, right? You have a fucking, like, country filled with, what would you say, like a secular republic, as long as it doesn't fall to fucking Marxism. Yeah, that would be better than what they have in most of these Muslim countries right now. But I digress, right? What do I know? I only have 5 Qur'ans and the entire fucking collection of Sunni hadiths, right? I obviously don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
As always, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the song that's coming up.
Oh no, I'm converting. Beware the 30-year-old converter, the apostasy cult to culture gender bender pipeline, right? Oh my god.
And I'll see you next time.
I've got to make myself a fucking AI outro. I've actually got to get off of my ass and actually commit to doing that. So yeah. So yeah. I would suggest going to watch Cyberpunk Dingo if you get the opportunity. This man makes really good content. I actually had a hold on. I had a couple other Cyberpunk Dingo ones to react to. I was going to save one for like later in the week, and I was going to react to this one immediately, but I'm looking at the clock and I don't have time to react to this. So I will save this for a later time, very soon, to react to this, because again, as he said about the apostates, no, they're also coming after ex-Muslims as well. So I'll get on that when I can, but for the time being, I've got to bounce.